I mean, they tell us that, people have trauma from playing sports or car accidents, but we know that the head is full of fluid. How do you know that that isn't protecting you to the maxims? And the reason why they want you to believe in brain trauma is so that you can take more of this medication to fix the trauma, but it's really just to keep on your narrow path. Because look at this guy.
Oh.
There's no trauma going on.
Well, I wouldn't say no trauma.
Haide! Ia mâna cealaltă când îl pui. Haide! Încă câteva, te rog, hai! Hai că poți! Haide! Încă puțin!
How do you explain this?
Încă puțin! 30 de secunde, ia mâna, Alexandra!
This is efficiency at work.
Deci așa, da? Stai!
Yeah, then move the balloon.
Hai că poți! Haide!
That guy's going full force.
Does he kind of have to do all those in that basket?
Încă o dată!
Look, I don't know.
Maybe he wins a trip to the hospital if he does it.
Hospital smoshable.
I don't know. I wish things would go back to the good old days, like where Elder's from.
You got some of my home movies there, man. How'd you get those? Wow. Yeah, I remember that.
See, they're trying to protect us from those things.
Yeah.
See, they know those things are real. Where do you think they got that idea from? They saw it at Oswell. They know those things are real. And they put it in movies so we will trust the government. And then we put out these illusions that the government's hiding stuff. I want them to hide that. I don't want to see that. So if they're really protecting me from that thing, I say kudos. Because now we're going to go over to the Chinese medicine. Because maybe they have, what's another thing? What do they call
Holistic.
it? Yeah, holistic medicines and traditional Chinese medicine. They demonize that stuff. But maybe they have the real answers. But we can't do that. Remember, like in America is the only place in the world that cancer treatment outside of radiation and chemo is illegal. Why are they saying that? Maybe it's to protect us, or maybe we need to remember our roots. But if they are really protecting us, we will see why. Because this is traditional medicine. Oh, see, this is traditional medicine.
Don't go to a chiropractor. Just have that done.
See, if the government is protecting us from all this Hellenistic medicines and traditional Chinese medicines and all this ancient medicine, maybe that's the case. maybe that's the case. Maybe the real thing is they make it illegal because they know that's what you're going to end up doing. And do you think that's wise? You think that's going to be efficacious?
Yes.
Yeah, and if so, then why don't you go out there and get, what they say, cast the first stone?
Hey, colleague, do you have a rash?
No, it's going away.
Okay, good.
But back to you, Elder.
My rash is gone.
You guys aren't convinced yet?
About?
That maybe I was wrong about everything?
You're telling us everything's a lie. What's there to be convinced about that?
Because I've been telling everybody for years that the lie is a real lie. But maybe the lie is just there to protect us, not to control us.
Well, I mean, if what you're saying is true, this is probably going to be one of the last shows you'll ever do.
No, I'm going to amplify it if it's real.
So we're going to secretly join the Illuminati.
No, we can't, because if we do, we'll ruin the whole thing.
So we're going to really join the Illuminati.
No, we're going to really talk about the real Matrix.
So we're not going to act like we're talking about the Matrix anymore. We're actually going to go into it.
If this is true, we just need to accept it and be. We just need that guy who was eating the steak.
I was going to say that. I just want a steak.
Yeah, that guy who was eating the steak. We just need to be a part of that team. Because look at Neil. What happened to him? He was fighting to get out, to get to Zion. And when he got there, what did everybody realize? Now, he didn't. He got destroyed. But Zion was just another creation of the architect. It was all illusion on top of an illusion.
Spoiler alert.
The guy who was eating the steak, he's still eating the steak. He's never experienced any of this nonsense. And all these people are fighting inside Zion, but it's all fake too. And so your fighting's fake because it's all fake. You just need to be eating that steak.
So we should be saying that we're fighting the good fight of fake.
No, they're fighting the good fight of compliancy because Mr. Anderson was just really trying to help, saying, if you fight, you're going to be fighting against a ghost. Why don't you just eat the steak?
This is going down that road where it's like the Star Wars people out there. Yeah. They're saying the rebellion, the Jedis were actually the bad guys.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
The Empire was actually the good guys. They're trying to keep order.
Right.
Trying to instill order in a chaotic universe.
So
and
Anakin
do
wasn't
you know how many contractors were wiped out when they destroyed the Death Star? They weren't all people from the Empire. They were like independent contractors that were hired.
Right.
It was women and children.
Right.
But now they're all gone.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And what they actually were doing was creating friction and chaos instead of helping the progress to move forward. And if all of this is true, that's all we're doing. And that's the idea. Because think about the CIA. The most clandestine thing that the U.S. government uses. And they do everything under the guise of national security and blah, blah, blah.
You're talking about like stopping the international airport for 10 days and stuff like that with no explanation.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the CIA is really a big frat club for these elites so they can party and spend all the money that the taxpayers give. And then they can call a group of terrorists. And then, when you get high, you have those crazy ideas like, oh, this is a good idea. And they're crazy ideas. But you want to test it out, but you didn't get the resources. Guess what the CIA's got? Plenty of resources to do whatever crazy idea they come up with. And there's a CIA agent, ex-CIA agent, called John Kiriakou, and he tells about these wild escapades. And if these things are true, if this is what's going on, then it's just more evidence to the fact that what we are thinking is probably an inverse.
You can't force hummus up someone's rectum, for example, right? You can't, they learned Abu Zubaydah had an irrational fear of insects. And so they put him in a coffin and they dumped a box of cockroaches in there with him and then closed the coffin. Factor. And they left him in there for 10 days just with a diaper. You can't do that. Nobody told you had permission to do something like that. And waterboarding was supposed to be the ultimate technique. But there were a couple that were clearly worse than waterboarding. Sleep deprivation, right? We know from the American Psychological Association, which has done studies on this kind of thing, that people begin to go insane at 7 days with no sleep. They begin to die of organ failure with 9 days without sleep. The CIA was authorized to keep prisoners awake for 12 days. We murdered 2 prisoners with that technique.
This is just the beginning. I'm going to play another one. So you can't stick hummus up somebody's rectum. But where do they get these ideas? Because they're high out their mind. They get these ideas. I've been there. Got those crazy ideas, but I ain't got the resources like the CIA. But they do. Listen to this one.
And I said, okay, so what can I do for you? And he said, we're going to go to the Middle East. I want to get in front of bona fide terrorists, he said. I'm thinking Hezbollah or Al-Qaeda. And I want to show them Polaroids of men having anal sex, like hardcore anal sex. Hardcore anal sex. And I want to ask them if this is a form of torture and should these men be sent to Guantanamo.
Oh my God.
And there was a woman in this foreign intelligence service who was
the ugliest woman I've ever seen in my life.
Like you want to avert your eyes. Like she came off the
side of Notre Dame.
She was a stone gargoyle with a giant
mole right here with a giant hair coming out of it.
that kind of ugly. So I asked her just to meet me privately for lunch on Saturday. Don't tell anybody. And she agreed. And I was like, oh my God. She said yes. And I ran back to the office. I was like, she said yes to a lunch on Saturday alone. And my boss says, okay, here's what I want you to do.
I want you to fuck her. And I said, what? I said,
Have you ever seen her? And he said, I know, but we're the good guys.
and you're gonna have to take one for the team. And I go, oh my God.
I go,
Now, doesn't that sound like a frat party?
Yeah, it does.
have you ever killed anybody? No, thank God. My children asked me that. And I told them very proudly that I have never taken any action that resulted in the death of another human being.
There's one kind of half exception.
And I think about this all the time. In 1993, I guess it was, I was sitting in the morning meeting. I told you earlier that every unit meets every day at 9 o'clock, and you just talk about what happened in the country that you cover overnight. I was in the morning meeting, and the secretary came in, and she said, John, General Powell is on the phone for you. Call him Powell. And I said, General Powell? How does he know who I am? And she
I said, I don't know, but he asked for you by name.
My boss is like, well, go answer the phone. So I went to my desk, and I said, good morning, General Powell. This is John Kiriakou. And he says,
John, if the Iraqis were going to kill the president, who would actually be in charge of that operation?
and I said, well, if you're talking about the attempt to kill President Bush, George H.W. Bush, he had been visiting Kuwait. I said, Kuwait operations are run from the Iraqi intelligence service's Basra station. But Basra station is headed by Sabr Abdulaziz Adori, the director of the Iraqi intelligence service.
He says, where does he sit?
I said, Baghdad.
Where exactly in Baghdad?
I said, if you hold on a second, I'll look up the address. So I looked it up. I gave him the address. He
He
said,
says, thank you, and he hangs up the phone.
I go back in the meeting. They were like, what do you want? I said, he wanted to know about Sabr Adori and the attempt to kill President Bush. I'm like, okay.
8 hours later, we fired 47 cruise missiles into Iraqi intelligence service headquarters.
But by then it was the middle of the night in Baghdad.
And we killed the janitor.
See, this is what I'm talking about. The CIA ain't no clandestine big operation. It's just a big place where big guys get to do big dreams because they got big money. You know, I think everything's just a big lie.
Well, it's a big load that you're dropping on us right now. I'm still trying to process all of this. I'm glad that you're coming clean with all this, telling us the truth finally. It's long overdue. Any thoughts, Elder?
Well, I'm just I'm flattered and honored that you guys would have me on such a historic show. For this to be taking place and for me to be a part of it has truly been special for me.
It's mind-blowing, isn't it?
Yes.
Did you know that plants hurt too?
Whoa.
See, we're told that they don't have pain.
That's rough.
I want you guys to remember one thing. That's pushed out by the CIA and John Kiriakou.
Strangers can kidnap you or hurt you. If someone in a uniform walked up to you on the street and said, "Come with me,"
Like ice.
what would you do?
Talk to your parents.
Yeah, I guess, unless your parents aren't anywhere to be found, because
Well, I was going to say I might have to have a seance to talk to mine, but
that could be arranged. I'm sure ICE would allow you to do that, right? I mean,
If you're getting a bucket of ice, yeah.
they usually allow people to call their loved ones before they ask for a large sum of money or whatever, like a ransom situation, I think.
well, they say you can't take it with you though, so I don't know about that.